Okay, so testing my microphone. Just gonna see how this is. My microphone. Okay, so that's going well. Microphone is working. Alright, GG. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at a little short story. My phone position isn't the best. It's leaning on a cup right now. This is going to be a short stream because I'm kind of busy, so that's why we're not doing Yotsuba. Yotsuba takes a bit longer. So we're going to be looking at a short story book that I got, right? And yeah. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Anyways. So I have the short story book called, you can see from the thumbnail of the image. It's called You Can Read Japanese, Short Stories for Japanese Learners. If it should be known that I am not learning according to the JLPT order, because that's just not very useful and not the most effective way. Using graded readers and other things, and mangas and anime is the most effective, or dramas and stuff, yeah. But yeah, so this book today is a graded reader. It's a level 2 graded reader. Basically what that means, let me just see. I have that. So that's this book, which is done by Japanese Language Park. The author is, let me check, Yumi Nishino. Hi. So it's a good book. I have like the level 1 and level 2 books for it. I already went through all the books. This book, as a heads up, is a level 2 graded reader, so it's the equivalent of JLPT N4. Also, I should actually say thank you to anyone coming to my stream. Hi, welcome. Just gonna show off my model real quick. Art, rigging, live 2D, all by me. All of it. I can use every expression. I can make them cry just non-stop. And I can combine it all together and let it just go completely and fully, right? So, yeah. I can combine the expressions and everything. I can get rid of it all. I can do whatever. And it all works. So yeah, just showing that off quick. Anyways, so this is easier than Yotsuba, right? So I have 2 of these books. This one has 1 picture per story. The stories are usually only about 3 pages. And then the other one has no pictures at all. But yeah, even though Yotsuba has pictures to it, Yotsuba is harder to read. Like, I've seen people online say that Yotsuba is a great beginner book because it has pictures and blah blah. Like, it's not a beginner book. It's not, like, Yotsuba is not for absolute beginners. It's for people who are like novice to intermediate, right? It's not for the absolute beginner. This book as well is for the level 2 version is aimed at novices. The level 1 is aimed at beginners. So the level 2, we're going to look at 1 story for today. It won't be a long stream, unfortunately, but that's why we're not doing Yotsuba. So yeah, I would say graded readers are better to look at than JLPT stuff. Like, the level 2 is graded reader is the equivalent. Level 1 is equivalent of N5, level 2 is equivalent of JLPT N4. This does have vocab that is harder than JLPT N4 in some of the stories. Definitely harder, like it can have some N2 vocab, a little N1, little N3, but grammatically and structurally it's the equivalent of an N4, right? And despite it having, these stories having anywhere from like no pictures up to a maximum of only 1 picture, it is definitely more difficult than, well, what I meant to say is Yotsuba is actually definitely more difficult than it. Like I've seen online some people say with Yotsuba you get pictures and you can do sentence mining and understand stuff. I'm like, bro, if you're figuring it out from the pictures alone, you're not really understanding it. Because you can't just sentence mine. Sentence mining and understanding the individual words that make up the sentence go hand in hand. That's why if you see a child learn a language, what they do is they learn words in the context of sentences, and they're learning both, not just one or the other. If you're just focused on one, that's not going to help. Your learning is incomplete, right? That's also why, despite, this book and the other version, this is the volume 2 version, the volume 2 version having only one picture per story, whereas the volume 1 version has no pictures. Despite it having no pictures, it's still easier than Yotsuba, right? Why? Because grammatically and structurally it's easier to read. Just saying, like, a lot of people recommend Yotsuba for beginners, but it's for the advanced beginner, the novice to intermediate. Whereas this is a bit easier. You just have to break through novice and you can tackle it. Anyways, getting that, just out of the air, just airing that there. So, anyways, let's go through this story. And yeah, so where was that one thing? Let's see. Let me just bring it up and we're just going to look at this story a little bit. Just one story. So this is a story called Okane to Pistoru, right? So it's basically, Okane is money. So Okane to Pistoru, money and a pistol. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to basically read it a little slowly. And then we're going to read it, breaking it down. And it'll just be this one story, unfortunately, because, yeah. So, are these all out of order? What the frig? Okay. Is this out of order? This is out of order. What the frig? Alright, the stupid thing. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So, let's see. I don't know why the hell that actually closed. But anyways, that was odd. Because I had like all the pages up, but that one closed. So, okane to pistoru, money and a pistol. So, dorobo ga kechimpo ie ni haite kimashita. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to read it through, right? That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to read it through, and then we'll read it again, breaking it down. So, that way it can be heard, even though my pitch isn't the best, but yeah. So, let me just make sure that this is actually in order. Why is this not in order? The hell? Then there's questions after. That's a waste of my time to have to like do the shortcut keys if it's just moved all over the place. I actually had it in a different order. That's weird. Anyways, I'm a little annoyed. Dorobo ga kechimpo no ie ni haite kimashita. Pistoru o mise nagara okane o 出せと言っています。ケチンポはいました。お金を出すだけは嫌だ。だから、そのピストルを撃ってもらいたい。10万円だ。お前は泥棒だから、お金が欲しい。そうでしょうか。泥棒は少し考えましたか。そのピストルを10万円でケチンポに売りました。So I'm just reading the story through, and then after, we'll reread it and break it down. Right? After, 後で、この物語、内容、contents, the 内容、調べる investigate, break down, yeah, something like that. ケチンボは泥棒からピストルをもらうとすぐ泥棒にピストルを向けました。さあ、お金を全部出せ。出さないと、このピストルで撃つ。そう。So you're gonna 撃つ with the pistol, with the pistol. と大きな声で言いました。とても怖い声です。でも、泥棒は口を大きく開けて笑っています。あははは。そのピストルはおもちゃだ。本当には撃ってないんだよ。そう言って、外に走っていきました。待て、ケチンボもう走りました。ケチンボと泥棒が道で喧嘩しています。Oops, wrong button. そこにちょうどおまわりさん So some of the stories in this book have one picture to it. So the picture is about like basically the second page. Some don't have at all. So despite not having pictures or only having one, they're still all easier than Yotsuba. Not that like a beginner can't read Yotsuba, it's just Yotsuba is like still novice level, but it's closer to intermediate than these things. Which is why I don't get why people recommend it to like a beginner. It's novice level. But one should always challenge a book or something that's a little harder than their level to learn, right? Anyways, そこにちょうどおまわりさんが来ました。おまわりさんは二人を警察署へ連れて行きました。おまわりさんはお金とピストルを見てびっくりしました。泥棒が持っていたお金は全部偽物でした。でもピストルは本物でした。おまわりさんは二人を牢屋へ入れました。This book is good. I like it. So there's questions for after, which let's see, where is it? I keep hitting the wrong thing. Which we'll look at after. words. And we're just going to do like this one story. That's pretty much it. Because I am busy. So we're going to break it down. So okane to pistoru. Money and pistol, right? So dorobo. Holy crap, that's huge. Like, oh my goodness. Dorobo ga kechimbo no ie ni haitekimashita. So dorobo is thief, right? Dorobo is thief. And then you have ga, which is marking the subject of the sentence, emphasizing what's after it. So the dorobo, the thief, and the subject is the kechimbo no ie ni. So kechimbo, kechimbo. It's hard to see the rendaku there, but kechimbo. Kechimbo means like cheapskate, right? Kechi is stingy, right? Kechi, stingy. Kechimbo is like cheapskate. Kechimbo. No ie ni, so no indicates possession. So the ie is house, right? So the house belonging to the kechimbo, belonging to the cheapskate, right? It's accurate to say, more accurate to say the house belonging to the class of a cheapskate, right? So if you wanted to say like ona no hito, instead of saying woman belonging to the class of a woman, you would say female. Well, ona no hito. Yeah, you would say instead of person belonging to the class of woman, it would be more accurate to say like person belonging to the class of female, right? Otoko no hito, person belonging to the class of male. If you want to think of it like an RPG sort of. So kechimbo no ie would be house belonging to the class of a cheapskate, right? A cheapskate's house. Kechimbo no ie ni indicates, I've talked about this during Yotsuba, but ni indicates like a direction for like where you're going. It can be a literal, like a physical place, or it can also be figurative, right? So it can be used for like a figurative place or literal. You will also see he, which I don't think this story has he being used, but it's a hiragana that basically looks like a triangle without the bottom, and the right side is stretched out pretty far. So for he, you'll sometimes see he instead of ni when referring to the going in the direction of a physical place. But he and ni for physical places is interchangeable. So if you want to say like kechimbo no ie ni, right, would be to the, direction or to the house of the cheapskate. You could use ni, or you could use he. He can be used for a physical place, but it cannot be used for like a figurative place, whereas ni can be. Figurative not just being a made up place, but like it can relate to a sort of thought. I don't know if I can give an example. Like for a physical place, you could say soto ni ikimashou, right? Soto is outside, so soto ni ikimashou, let's go outside or to outside. You could also say soto he ikimashou, right? Let's go to the direction of outside. So you can use it for physical places, but for like a figurative place, like for a train of thought or something, where you could use ni, you would not use he. They're not interchangeable except for like physical places and directions. I'm trying to find an example of a figurative thing for using ni, because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyways, let's go forward. I also talked about that during Yotsuba streams. So, Dorobo ga kechimbo no ie ni haitekimashita. Haitekimashita. So, hairu, haite is like the ongoing action of hairu. Hairu is to enter. This kanji for hairu, hai can also be ireru. If it's ireru, it would be like put in. If it's hairu, then it would be to enter. And it's talking about the action ongoing, so the ru changes, so it's haite. So dorobo ga kechinpo no ie ni haitekimashita. So kimashita would be like they came. They came, they entered. Like English and Japanese is just reversed from each other, so it would be like literally it would be thief, cheapskates, house, entered, came. Came and entered. So a thief came and entered the house of a cheapskate, basically. Dorobo ga kechinbo no ie ni haitekimashita. Pistoru o mise nagara okane o dase to iteimasu. So this line is pistoru o mise nagara okane o dase to iteimasu. So the pistoru or mise nagara. So pistoru is the katakana for pistol, right? Mise nagara. So miseru is to show something, right? So it's saying mise. Also, I'll say pistoru o. The o marks the object of the sentence, right? So pistoru o mise nagara. So mise from miseru, to show. He showed the pistol. Nagara is like nagara would be like while or simultaneously. You might also see nagaramo. Nagaramo is more like despite. So like, whereas nagara is while or basically like multitasking. So pistoru o mise nagara. So the pistol he was showed while. Okane o dase to iteimashita. So okane is money, object again. Dase, like take out. To iteimasu. So and or that he said iteimasu. Saying, right? So the pistol he showed while. Money take out said. So he showed, so he took out his pistol, flashed it, showed the pistol while saying to take out money, right? So robbery, clearly. Pistoru o mise nagara, pistol, showed while. Okane o money, dase to, take out. To is like the thought of it, or and, depending on the context. Iteimasu, saying. So he flashed, so he showed the pistol while saying take out your money, right? Okane o... Oh, my mistake, I skipped a line. Kechimbo wa imashita. So kechimbo, the cheapskate. Wa marks the topic of the sentence, right? And emphasizes what's before it. So kechimbo wa imashita. So the cheapskate spoke. Or the cheapskate said, right? Okane o dasu dake wa yada. So okane, money. Dasu dake wa yada. So take out. However, dake can be like however or but. Can mean either of those. So okane o dasu dake wa yada. Yada. Yada yo. So yada, ya is like no. Don't want to. Or dislike, right? So he's saying, I don't want to take money out. Dakara. Dakara could be like, therefore, or because of that. Da just is like affirming the statement of before, and kara can mean from or because. So dakara, sono pistoru o utte moraitai. Sono pistoru utte moraitai. 10万円だ。10万円だ。お前は泥棒だからお金が欲しい。そうじゃないか? そうじゃないか. So, お金を出すだけはやだ. Already looked at that individually. Basically, I don't want to take out the money. I don't like to take out money. The kechimbo said, the cheapskate said, だから, therefore, そのピストル, その, so he's saying that pistol, o marks the object of the sentence, 売ってもらいたい. 売ってもらいたい. He's like, I want to buy it from you, right? So, 売って is like buying. Morai is for... Morai there is for like receiving. And then the tai is for... it's like want, right? So, 売ってもらいたい. So I want to receive... Ute is selling, my mistake. Kao is to buy. Uru would be like to sell. So ute morai tai. So he's saying... I said he wants to buy it, which is true, but what he's saying literally is, I want you to sell it to me, actually. That's what he's saying. So, そのピストルを売ってもらいたい. 売って sell, もらい like referring to himself receiving, たい もらいたい. Receiving wants. たい is like want. Right? So he's like, I want you to sell it where I receive it. I want you to sell it to me, pretty much. 10万円だ. So 10万円 is like 100,000 yen, I think. Ju is 10. Mon is 10,000. En just refers to, yen. En can also mean round or circular, depending on the context. But with money, it's always yen. So 10万円だ. So 100,000 yen. お前は泥棒だからお金が欲しい。そうじゃないか. It's like お前は, it's like you. Again, the wa marks the topic of the sentence. お前. Be careful with that kanji for mae, because mae can also mean like front or previously. But for this vocab word, omae, but usually for front or previously, I'll have the onyomi reading of zen. Not zen, was it zen or sen? I think zen, yeah. But omae is like, means you, so. Omae, ignore the other readings, anyone. Just for now, omae, that word means you. Omae wa dorobo dakara. It's like you are a thief, therefore, dakara. Da affirms that statement. Kara is from or because. Omae wa dorobo dakara okane ga hoshi. Therefore, money you want. Money want. Like you want money, right? So janai ka. Isn't that right? So would be that. But referring to like kind of the thought of that. So janai ka, isn't that right? Ka is, they don't need to put a question mark because ka marks it as a question, but yeah. Dorobo wa skoshi kangaimashita ga. Sono pistolu o 10万円でケチンポに売りました。ケチンポは泥棒からピストルをもらうと。Okay, look at that. 泥棒は少し考えましたが. So the thief, right? Topic of the sentence with the wa. 泥棒少し考えましたが. So he thought a little, right, about the proposal that the Kachimpo made of sell me, the pistol. You want money? Sell me it. As the thief tries to rob him, which is hilarious. Thief tries to rob him. He's like, I'll buy the pistol. How about that? Because he's like, I don't want to just give you the money. I'll buy the pistol from you. I want to buy it from you, right? Okane o dasu dake wa yada. Dakara sono pistolu o utte moraitai. 10万円だ. Omae wa dorobo dakara okane ga hoshii. So janai ka. Dorobo wa skoshi kangaimashita ka. So the thief, dorobo wa skoshi. Dorobo wa skoshi kangaimashita ga. The thief, a little bit, thought. Right? So the thief thought about it a little bit. So, dorobo, thief, skoshi, little, kangaimashita ka. Thinking, right? So he thought a little bit about it. Sono pistolu, that pistol, o 10万円で 100,000 yen de, talking about the action of receiving it. I can't explain dead too well, but it refers to like an ongoing action and affirms it as a statement, sort of. De kechimbo ni urimashita. So he thought about, that pistol for 100,000 yen of the cheapskate, the kechimbo, of ni urimashita. Of selling to the cheapskate. Thinking kangaimashita ga, or thought. Kangaimashita ga, a little, skoshi, about the thief. Dorobo. English and Japanese, it's just backwards. I know, like the sentences are usually just backwards minus one word. Usually the first word. So dorobo wa skoshi kangaimashita ga. The thief a little thought. But referring to the offer, right? Sono pistolu o 10万円で kechimpo ni urimashita. That pistol, sono pistolu, o 10万円で 100,000 yen. From the kechimpo ni urimashita. The cheapskate selling to the cheapskate. So sell, selling, sold, urimashita, to the kechimpo. Oh, this is a good example of the difference between ni and he. So for ni and he, well, I'll just talk about it. I'm just like reviewing this. It's like studying the book and reviewing it. I went through all my books for the level 1 and level 2 stuff the past 2 weeks, which is kind of crazy. I went through it pretty damn quick. But yeah, I got distracted. Someone texted me. My mistake. What was I saying? I forgot for a second. I got distracted. Oh, the difference between ni and he. I don't have a talent for teaching, but I'm trying to just do this because I was planning to review this myself anyways. So I'm like, okay, we'll stream it, right? It won't be as long as Yotsuba 2. And I can't do Yotsuba today or this week because I don't have the time. So, but the difference between ni and he. So if you want to talk about a physical location, if you want to talk about a physical location, so like for example, soto ni ikimashou, you could say, soto is outside, ni indicates the direction, and iku is to go, masho is like a proposal, like soto ni ikimashou. So let's go outside. You could say he instead of ni, so you could say soto he ikimashou, or soto ho he ikimashou. Ho would be also direction, and then he replaces the ni, right? So in that case, for a physical place, referring to going outside, or if you want to say saka ni ikimashou or saka he ikimashou, let's go to the hill. Ni and he are interchangeable for a physical place. But for a figurative thing, it's not. So for example, right here, where the thief says, Sono pistoru o 10,000 yen de, that pistol, 100,000 yen, kechimpo ni urimashita. So the cheapskate, referring to the direction of the cheapskate, urimashita, selling or sold, right? So in this case, it's talking about selling to the cheapskate. There's a direction there. You cannot use he interchangeably with ni in this context, right? He can only be used interchangeably with ni when referring to a physical place or directions, right? That's the only time. Ni is used for not just physical places, but figurative. So it's talking about selling to the kechimbo, right? So that's an example of ni, of where ni can be used where he cannot, right? And again, to really hammer it, he can only be used interchangeably with ni, the particle, when referring to a physical place, right? That's it. So anyways, look at this line again. Dorobo wa skoshi kangaemashita ga, sono pistoru o 10,000 yen de kechimpo ni urimashita. So backwards, because Japanese and English is backwards. Backwards, it's literally sold to the cheapskate, affirming the statement ongoing, right? For the 10,000 yen, the 100,000 yen of the pistol that, right? Thought a little, the thief. So the thief thought about that, right? Pretty much. So he thought about it and he sold it to him, right? Dorobo wa skoshi kangaimashita ga. He thought about it, right? A little. Thief, a little thought. Sono pistoru o 10,000 yen de kechimpo ni urimashita. That pistol, 100,000 yen. The cheapskate, the cheapskate sold, right? Again, ni refers to a place, a direction. He can be used interchangeably with it for a physical place or physical directions. Ni is much broader and can also refer to other things, right? So here it's referring to the direction of the thought or the action actually of selling whatever to the cheapskate. Anyways, going on. Kenchimbo wa dorobo kara pistoru o murau to sugu dorobo ni pistoru o mukemashita. So the kenchimbo wa dorobo kara, the cheapskate, wa marks the topic of the sentence, emphasizing what's before it. Kechimbo wa dorobo kara, thief from, or thief because, in this case it's from. Dorobo kara, thief from. Pistoru, or pistol, marked as the object of the sentence. Morau to, so morau to, just like before, the morai, morau, receiving. Right? Kechimbo wa dorobo kara pistoru o morau to. So the cheapskate, the thief from, pistol received. Sugu is or sugu ni could be right away. But anyway, sugu, right away, immediately. Dorobo ni, in the direction of the dorobo, the thief. Pistoru o mukemashita. So sugu. Dorobo ni pistoru o mukemashita. Thief. The ni refers to the direction of the thief. Dorobo ni, dorobo, thief. Pistoru, pistol, o mukemashita. Mukemashita turned it to him, right? So the cheapskate was getting robbed, offered to buy it for the pistol. The thief sold the pistol to him, and then he turned the pistol on the thief, which is hilarious. Kechimbo wa dorobo kara pistoru o morau to, sugu dorobo ni pistoru o mukemashita. So sugu, right away. Dorobo, thief, ni pistoru o mukemashita. Pistol turned towards. Mukeru is to turn something or to rotate something. So mukemashita, turned it. Sa okane o zenbu dase. So the cheapskate bought the gun from the dude who was robbing him, turned it on him, and said, "Now take out your money." Pretty much. So he's robbing the dude who tried to rob him with his own gun. Kechimbo. Oh wait, which line was it? Okay, here. Sa okane o zenbu dase. Zenbu means all. So sa, now. Okane, money. O zenbu dase, all. Dase, take out all your money. Sa okane o zenbu dase. Dasa naito. If you don't take out, the to marks the thought of it. To can mean and, or it can mark a thought. So the thought of not, nai, dasanai, not taking out. Kono pistoru, this pistol, de utsuzo. Kono pistoru de utsuzo. So this pistol, the de marks this as refers to a statement and an ongoing action. Kono pistoru de utsuzo. Utsu is to shoot. And then the zo is just like a particle that's used as like a command of emphasis. So he's saying, take out your money or I'll shoot you. So the cheapskate who is getting robbed by a thief bought the gun from the thief, then turned it on him and is now robbing him. He's robbing the dude who is just robbing him with his own gun, which is crazy. To oki na koe de imashita. Totemo kowai koe desu. So to. So he said that to. So the dasanai to before was the thought of not taking out, but here the to refers to kind of the thought of it, but also and. To oki. Oki is like big. Oki na koe de imashita. So I'm going to talk about na very quickly. Na is a particle. So na does the same thing as da and no together. So da emphasizes a statement, affirms a statement, and yeah, pretty much like it, and it's usually more for like past tense. And then no, as we talked about, indicates a possession, usually possession to a class of something. So like again, the example ona no hito would be woman. It means woman, but reading it backwards, because Japanese and English is backwards from each other. Ona no hito would be person, hito, person, belonging to the class of female, right? Ona, female. Otoko is male, so otoko no hito, hito, person, otoko, male, person belonging to the class of male, right? So na kind of replaces da and no together, right? In this case, because it's joining the two things, it's joining the oki na koe, at least to my understanding. So like the imashita. So imashita is said. So he said with a voice that was big, basically said in a big voice, a loud voice. To oki na koe de imashita. So oki na koe de, a voice belonging to a class of bigness, whatever. Imashita, said. Oki, big. Na koe de, voice de imashita, right? Imashita, said. Totemo kowai koe desu. A very scary voice. Totemo kowai koe desu. Oops, wrong one. Here, soko ni, there's only really one picture for it. Yeah, I mean the first picture tells you what the story's generally about. This picture only really describes another part of it. Where was... Oh, here. Demo, dorobo wa kuchi o okiku akete. Demo, and waratteimasu. Demo, but the thief. Kuchi is a mouth. O okiku akete. So opened big, opened wide. Oki is big, right? Okiku is like beginning, widening. Yeah. Beginning sounds weird, but I only, like, that's not a real word, but I only say that because maybe it sounds like it makes more sense. Oddly, which makes no sense. But anyways, okiku akete. Akete is open, so demo dorobo wa kuchi o okiku akete waratte imasu. Warao. Warao is to laugh. So waratte imasu. But the thief, their mouth big opened, laughing. So, but the thief opened their mouth, but the thief laughed, opening their mouth wide. They opened their mouth wide, laughing. Ha ha ha, sono pistoru wa omocha da. Honto ni wa utte nai n da. Dayo. So he's laughing, sono pistoru, that pistol, omocha da. So da emphasizes a statement, right? Affirms it, omocha da. So he's saying the pistol is a toy. Honto ni, really, truthfully, wa utte nine dayo. Utte nine, like you cannot shoot. Utsu is to shoot, utte nai, so you can't shoot. Dayo. Da, we already talked about. Yo is a particle just communicating the feelings, usually one-sidedly, for lack of a better explanation, because I know that's not the most in-depth one, but that's not what this is supposed to be. Honto ni wa utte nai n dayo. So ite soto ni hashite ikimashita. So ite, that you said, soto ni hashite ikimashita. Soto, so to the direction of outside. Hashite, ran. Ikimashita, to go. So soite, saying that, said that. Soto ni hashite ikimashita. Outside, ran, to go. He said that running to go outside. Mate, kechimpo, mate, wait. Mate, kechimpo mo hashirimashita. The cheapskate mo also ran. Mo can replace wa, however it has the extra meaning of also. So the kid, instead of saying kechimpo wa hashirimashita, the cheapskate ran, kechimpo mo hashirimashita, the cheapskate also ran. Kechimpo to dorobo ga michi de kenka shite imasu. Kechimpo to dorobo, the cheapskate and the thief, ga michi de kenka shite imasu. Michi is road. Kenka is fight. So kechimpo to dorobo ga michi de kenka shite imasu. So the thief and the cheapskate and the thief on the road fought, right? They were fighting on the road. I'm going to hurry this up a bit because... What the frick? Oh, wrong button. I'm going to hurry this up a bit because I do want to end this stream, like, pretty soon. Here we go. Soko ni chodo omawari-san ga kimashita. Soko, there, right, the direction of there. Chodo, like exactly or just right. It's referring to like the time, just in time. Omawari-san, the police officer, ga kimashita. So kimashita is the came, right? So he came just at that time there. Pretty much. Just at the time of them fighting on the road, right? Soko ni there. Chodo omawari-san, just then, right? Exactly then. Exactly right. Omawari-san ga kimashita. Police officer came. Omawari-san wa futari o keisatsu sho he tsurete ikimashita. The Omawari-san, the police officer, the futari, referring to the dorobo and the kechimpo. He, again, this is futari o keisatsu sho. That's like jail, I think. I think that's jail. I'm going to check for a second. Give me a second. ちょっと待ってね. I'm checking is what 確認この訳だ. This translation. Because I think keisatsu sho is jail, but no, it's a police station. My mistake. Keisatsu. Oh yeah, keisatsu is police, and then the show just is for place. So the place is police station. Duh, my mistake. Anyways, Omawari-san wa futari o keisatsu sho he tsurete ikimashita. Surete is like arrived. They went ikimashita. So they go to arrive at the police station. The two. And it talks about the police officer being the topic of it, like he brought the two of them to the police station. Omawari-san wa futari o kono kechimpo to dorobo. Keisatsu sho, police station. Keisatsu police. Keisatsu sho police station. Keisatsu sho he, again he indicates direction. Keisatsu sho he tsurete ikimashita. Tsurete is like arrived. Ikimashita. They go to arrive at the police station. So the police officer for those two at the police station, they go to arrive. He brought them to the police station. The police officer brought the two to the police station. Keisatsu sho, police station. Tsurete is like arrived. Tsurete ikimashita. Ikimashita went, going. Well, ikimasho would be let's go. Iku, to go. Ikimashita, went, yeah. Omawari-san wa okane to pistoru o mite. The police officer, for the money and the pistol, mite, looked. Right? He was looking at them. Mite. Bikkuri shimashita, surprised. So, okane to pistoru o mite bikkuri shimashita. He was looking at them surprised. Dorobo ga motte itta okane wa zenbu nisemono deshita. So the dorobo ga motte itta okane wa, so the thief, for like the motte, holding, the held, ita okane. The ita is kind of just marking like the existing thing, for lack of a better explanation. Iru means to exist. Aru also means to exist or to have, usually a little more abstract or general. Oru is like very general, very abstract. Actually, yeah, iru is to exist, aru is to have or to exist, more general, and then oru is to exist, but like abstractly. Dorobo ga motte itta okane wa, so the thieves held money. The thieves held existed money, right? Existing money. for lack of a better explanation or translation, Zenbu nisemono deshita. All of it was fake. Zenbu nisemono. Zenbu nisemono. All fake deshita. So, Dorobo ga motte itta okane wa zenbu nisemono deshita. All the money that the thief held was fake. Demo, but however, pistoru wa honmono deshita. The pistol was real. Omawari-san wa futari o roya he iremashita. So the police officer for the two, the futari o, the kono dorobo to kechimpo, kono futari. Futari is like the two people. Roya is jail. Roya is jail. Or jail or prison. Yeah. Roya he iremashita. So put them in. So you put them into the direction. The he marks the direction, the physical place going to, which would be the roya, the jail. Futari is two people. And omawari is police officer. If we're saying one person or alone or two people, it's kind of weird. Like if you want to count people, it's literally hitori, one person or alone. Futari, two people. Then it goes like sannin, yonnin, gonin, rokunin, blah blah blah. And so on and so forth. But the first two numbers are an exception. Anyways, this stream was like an hour. I did not think it was going to be this long. I'm glad actually we did not look at Yotsuba, because that would have I would have probably spent like a lot more time on that. We'll look at Yotsuba next weekend, like next Sunday. But anyways, that's that. I'm going to give it a very quick read through. We could read it in the English though, I guess. So I'll read it in the Japanese fully. Or I'll, you know what, I'll read it in the English. I have the book here. There's not really any pictures. There's only like this one to indicate there's a robbing. And then this one which indicates the police officer showed up. But for the in-between page, there's no words. There's no pictures, I mean. Let's see. I wasn't going to read the English translation, but I'll read it pretty quick. Let's see if I can find it. I wasn't planning to read the English translation, that's why. Oh, that's the wrong book. What the hell? No wonder I can't find it. I was looking through the wrong book. Where is it? This is the right book, for sure. Let's see. Dare. Oh, not Dare. Dore. What the? I'm trying to find it to read the English. Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna just read it quickly in English, and then I'm gonna read the Japanese. So, a burglar broke into a cheapskate's house. He showed him his gun while he said, "Give me the money." The cheapskate said, "I don't want to give you my money. So, I'd like you to sell me your pistol, 100,000 yen. You're a burglar. You want money, right? Right?" The burglar gave it some thought. He decided to sell the pistol for 100,000 yen. The cheapskate got the pistol from the burglar and immediately pointed it at him. "Give me all your money. If you don't give it to me, I'll shoot you," he shouted in a big voice. It was a very scary voice, but the burglar opened his mouth wide and laughed. "Ha ha ha. That pistol is a toy. In reality, it can't shoot." he said, and ran outside. Wait! The cheapskate ran after him. The burglar and the cheapskate were fighting in the street. Just then, a police officer came up to them. The police officer took the two of them down to the police station. The police officer looked at the money and the pistol and was surprised. The money the burglar had was all counterfeit, but the pistol was real. The policeman sent them both to jail. Okay, so we looked at that there. Now let's look at the Japanese fully. And yeah, let's see, what the hell is this stuff? Oh yeah, I use WaniKani to study some Japanese, by the way. I had a lifetime membership, but I like, it's not the main thing I use because I just use it as an accessory. Most of the stuff I study is like way ahead of my level in WaniKani, because you got to remember, any app you use to learn a language is a tool to build upon the foundations of learning that language. And what are the foundations, the pillars of learning any language? Reading, listening, and speaking. Speaking can include repeating what you listen to, but it's very, very important to talk to people if you have someone to talk to. So let's just read this really quickly in Japanese, because I just read it in English. Okane to pistoru. See. 泥棒がケチンポの家に入ってきました。ピストルを見せながらお金を出せと言っています。ケチンポはいました。お金を出すだけはやだ。だからそのピストルを売ってもらいたい。10万円だ。お前は泥棒だからお金が欲しい。そうじゃないか。泥棒は少し考えましたが、そのピストルを10万円でケチンポに売りました。ケチンポは泥棒からピストルをもらうと、すぐ泥棒にピストルを向けました。さあ、お金を全部出せ。出さないと、このピストルで撃つぞ。と大きな声で言いました。とても怖い声です。でも泥棒は口を大きく開けて笑っています。ああははは、そのピストルはおもちゃだ。本当には撃ってないんだよ。撃ってないんだよ。ははは。そう言って外に走って行きました。待て、ケチンポも走りました。ケチンポと泥棒が道で喧嘩しています。Oops, wrong thing. そこにちょうどおまわりさんが来ました。おまわりさんは二人を警察署へ連れて行きました。おまわりさんはお金とピストルを見てびっくりしました。泥棒が持っていったお金は全部偽物でした。全部偽物でした。全部偽物でした。でもピストルは本物でした。わあ。おまわりさんは二人を牢屋へ入れました。Okay, so I'm gonna end the stream there. This was supposed to be a short stream. I mean, it's an hour, so it's actually not short. But I actually meant for this to be like half hour or less, so it's twice as long. But I think that just means if I streamed Yotsuba, it would have been over 2 hours. Anyways, I like this book. It's good. I like it. I keep clicking the wrong thing. What the hell? So this is that book, Short Stories for Japanese Learners. I did buy a few of them. It's pretty good. These books are novice level, right? So therefore the advanced beginner. I do think that if you're learning a language, I will actually give my advice and I'll do a video on that next week. Probably next Raishu Raishumatsu next weekend. It'll basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a video on learning a language and how to go about doing it, particularly Japanese. And I'm going to talk about free and paid resources you can use. Paid resources are better. Paid resources would include buying books or paying for apps, but you don't need to do that to learn. So that video is probably only going to be like several minutes long. Like, I promise that video will be less than 10 minutes. I'll probably only be about 5 to 7 minutes because I don't need to drag it out. It's very simple. I'll also do a short video which will be a minute or less long, basically just summarizing what I say in that video for how to learn a language, and also giving free resources for learning Japanese in particular, right? The longer video will include free and paid. And by the way, like, some of the free resources I use can actually be used not just for Japanese but other things. And I'll talk about that. I'm just very busy right now, so I haven't put out that video, but it'll be a long video, quote unquote long, like 5-6 minutes, and a short one which will be about a minute. So yeah, learning Japanese or any language is not too hard. I mean, I myself have studied Japanese. Like, I wouldn't say I've studied it for years because I would face burnout. Like, I'll give a brief thing of my own story for Japanese here. I have studied Japanese in the past. I would study it for usually a month or 2 or 3 at a time, and then I would not study it for like a year or 2, right? And I would literally forget most of what I had because I would go too hard with it. I would burn out. I would focus too much on doing apps, like different applications for learning, than actually reading and speaking and listening, right? Which are the 3 things you need to do to learn any language. Those are the 3 things. Any apps or anything revolves around that. I'll talk about that more in depth in that video I plan to do, and I'll give paid and free resources people can use for doing that, because for learning any language, particularly Japanese though. So yeah, but yeah, so when I came back to studying Japanese, I started studying Japanese seriously about 2 months ago. So I forgot most of what I learned in the past, so I came back into it remembering maybe about 1 to 2 months worth of knowledge. I've been studying it seriously since about June 28th. So it's been about 2 months. So total, like, I don't count the total time for whatever, because of course if I study Japanese for 2 months and I don't look at it for like 2 years and I forget most of what I learned, I'm not going to count that entire 2 years. You get what I mean? Because I wasn't studying for 2 years. Just an example. Or I'm not going to count the full 2 months because I'm going to forget a lot of it. But to look at things objectively and fairly, and not to try to deceive people of, oh, you can do this in like a month or 2, which you can't. Slow and steady wins the race, and no one can do it in like a month or 2. Like, I went back, so when I started studying Japanese again seriously around June 28th, because I wasn't even doing it casually before, I went into it with about 1 to 2 months worth of knowledge. Let's say, I think 1 to 2 months. 2 months is over exaggerating, but let's say 2 months. And I've been studying it for about 2 months as well, so it's been about 4 months, right? So I do work on my own stuff. Of course, people should not compare themselves for how quickly they progress to others, because everyone's different. Some people might be studying and they might have like a family, right? And a full-time job, versus someone who might be on working only a part-time job, or someone who might be, on a student during a holiday, right? Like everyone's situation is different. Everyone progresses differently. So that's to keep in mind, because comparison is the theft of joy, right? Do not compare yourself to others, because comparison is the theft of joy. So, and everyone deserves joy and happiness in a good, healthy way. But yeah, so I've been studying Japanese for 2 months, but I already had about 1 to 2 months of knowledge going into it. So for me, I would say I'm not even intermediate level. I'm like between novice and intermediate. These books are aimed at novices. I did the story we looked at today. I did read it 2 days ago, and I reviewed it for today's stream, on stream. So today's stream was the second time I looked at it. Well, only the second time, which will be the same for all streams. I'll always read ahead for our language learning streams or whatever, a little bit 1 or 2 days before, just to make the stream go easier and smoother, and also just for extra study. But I won't like jump too far ahead or read it or whatever, just like 1 or 2 days before. Same like with this story, same with Yotsuba, right? But yeah, it's taken me about 4 months worth of knowledge to get to between a novice and intermediate level. I would not say I'm intermediate. I would say my reading is between novice and intermediate. My listening as well. My speaking is not as good though. My speaking, I would say, is only novice. But my reading and listening, I would say, is between novice and intermediate. So, yep. Yeah. There was something else I wanted to say, but honestly, like, I just forgot. I completely forgot. But anyways, you can look forward to those videos I'm going to do for next weekend, probably next Sunday. Give or take 2 days, though. Give or take 2 days. Because I might want to, like, not just record it, but give it a nice little edit. So maybe 2 days. Give it... Next Sunday, give 2 days maybe, though. Give or take. But yeah, anyways, thank you to anyone who watches the stream, who lurks, anyone who will comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like 90% of people, I think like 85 or 90% of people who watch the videos don't subscribe. So, are not subscribed. So that's why me and many other people mention it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more, right? Hit the bell, share it if you care. It works, it's great. And I think that's all I have to talk about. I have some stuff to do. Gotta work on that manga I'm working on. That's why. Yeah, this stream is longer than I thought it'd be. I thought it would only be like 30, 40 minutes. It's been well over an hour. But that's okay. So, yeah, this storybook, I like it. I'm not doing a review of it, but I'm just going to say I like it. I like some of the stories in it. The vocab, it's a level 2 graded reader, which is the equivalent of a JLPT N4. I think some vocab in it is harder, but grammatically and structurally, that's what it's the equivalent of. It's a little easier than Yotsuba, despite it not having, some of the stories not having pictures or only having one picture. It is easier than Yotsuba, because people would assume Yotsuba has no more pictures. It must be easier. It's like, nah, Yotsuba is more difficult. Like, reading Yotsuba, which I haven't really done since our last stream, but I'll read a little ahead for the next stream we do. And reading these graded readers, these graded readers are easier than Yotsuba, despite not having pictures. It's because the sentences are shorter, and grammatically and structurally it's just easier. And I already know most of the vocab for it, right? Whereas Yotsuba is more strange grammatically and structurally because you have one character speaking super formally, you have one character speaking casually, you have another character speaking super casually, so it's like this whole mix there, which is more difficult to navigate. And then also it's harder because of that, and also just for other reasons. Some of the sentences can be longer and more strange in usage, whereas for these short stories, despite them not having pictures, they are easier than Yotsuba grammatically and structurally, like I said. I bring that up again because, I saw online some people recommend Yotsuba for beginners. They're like, Yotsuba's easy, you can just figure out the meaning from the pictures. It's like, I'm going to talk about this in that video I plan to do, but if you're just sentence mining, you're not learning properly, right? Perfect practice makes perfect. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So sentence mining is good, but the point of pictures and utilizing them properly for a manga or whatever is not just to get the gist of a sentence, it's to help you figure it out, to break it down too. Because you should be learning the words and the sentence. The sentence puts it in a context, and the pictures illuminate that context for you. If you're just focused on the context itself, without the contents of the context, then you're limiting your learning, right? Like for a child, I live with my family, right? My sister and her son, my nephew, live in the same house. My nephew is a baby, right? A toddler. As he learns, right? And I've seen this, he learns words in sentences, but he's also learning the individual words themselves, not just the sentences. Both go hand in hand. They're not opposed to one another. You gotta get both. And the beauty of pictures too is that when you break down the contents of the contextual sentence, is you get a dopamine hit, you get a serotonin hit. It's very rewarding to your brain to be able to figure it out, which then makes it even easier to remember that and the contents thereof. I'll be talking about this in that video I plan to do. That video will mostly just be talking about the important things to focus on for learning a language, also free and paid resources you can use generally, and I'll mention ones specifically for Japanese as well, right? The long video again will be between, and I do promise it will not be 10 minutes. I see some people do videos 20 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour. It's completely unnecessary. The long quote-unquote video I do will be between about 5 and 10 minutes. It will not be it'll be under 10 minutes, I promise that. And the short video, which will just be focused more on the free stuff you can use and glossing over how to generally go about it. Any language, particularly Japanese, will be a YouTube short, less than a minute. But that one will be like a bit more vague because it'll be a YouTube short. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to talk about. I'm going to go eat some dessert. And then I am going to, just work on the manga I've been working on. I'm going to try finish it for that contest. And then after the contest is over, that's when I'm going to post the character designs and stuff. I was going to post it sooner, but I thought I'll wait till after the contest is done. That way I can just focus more on the contest itself, right? Then whatever. The great thing about that contest too is you just need to have the rough for it done at the minimum. But I'm going to try to do more if I can. So hopefully it goes well. I might have to cut a little bit of content from my manga story to be able to finish it in time, or finish the incomplete version of it in time. Incomplete just meaning it's drawn, just not shaded. but we'll see. Anyways, thank you to anyone who's watching. Peace. Bye. Next week we will actually stream Kyoto Colorful Days, and next Monday or Tuesday, and we will do Madoka's arc, so that'll be nice. So we'll do that, and then next weekend, Raishumatsu, 四つ葉の漫画をストリームしてるする not sure, but we'll do a Yotsuba stream next weekend, next Sunday. There will not be any stream this weekend, just so anyone knows. Anyways, yeah, I think that's it. That's all. Thanks and bye.